strengthening relationships, developing support, forging alliances. This is the America-Israel Friendship League, making friends for Israel since 1971.
Its central purpose is to expand the relationship between the United States and Israel.
Attorneys general from across the United States, many of whom became U.S. cabinet members, governors, and senators, visit Israel each year.
Well, America doesn't have a better friend in the region than Israel, and it's really critical for the United States and its long-term interests to know who we can work with, not only in individual headline-grabbing matters, but day to day.
Israel is a more remarkable place than you're ever going to see in our American media.
Very often people come and say, gee, I had a totally different perception of what Israel was all about. And very often it was biased.
What I have found here is an entirely different reality to what I've been exposed to from the media.
Being here and seeing the difference that Israel is making, not just regionally, but worldwide, is incredible.
The New York Stock Exchange Israel Day celebration is the manifestation of the strong relationship between the U.S. and Israel, which is continually fostered and nurtured by the League. This relationship is actively promoted by distinctive people-to-people programs.
AIFL does remarkable work in making sure that the context between the people of Israel and the people of America are rich and continuing and personal.
The importance for people to really understand Israel, understand its contributions in the region, understand the values that undergird the country.
Each year, the America-Israel Friendship League sends numerous leadership delegations to Israel of American leaders and opinion makers from various fields, presenting them with Israel's significant achievements in areas such as innovation, technology, economy, science, and culture. State legislators met with top Israeli officials, receiving updates on currently pressing regional issues.
We've had just a fantastic week here, and we learned all kinds of new information about the culture over here, the challenges in the Middle East, the challenges to peace, the diversity inside Israel.
It's been an amazing moment of clarity and all of the complexities that you might not understand unless you actually get a chance to come and see for yourself.
School superintendents and state education officials learned about Israel's cultural and political diversity.
And when they go into some of the schools we have visited, they see the diverse populations and they see how successful these students have been.
What touched me most is the meeting with the children and the educators whose hearts and souls are absolutely in. And the love they provide these students is unconditional.
Members of the African American Leaders Delegation gained great insight into the inner workings of Israeli democracy.
Israel is definitely not what anyone expects it to be. The message I take back with me is that Israel is an American value and we have to treat it as such.
What touched me most during my visit was when we went to the school in Tel Aviv, a country of immigrants. They all come under this shared perspective. And I just thought it was amazing. It was the best thing I've seen since I've been here, and I've seen a lot of great things.
Law review editors encountered leading state officials and fellow law students who demonstrated through many examples the diverse nature of this startup nation.
I had heard of the beautiful beaches and how friendly everyone was, but I wasn't expecting it to be as developed and, really just a cosmopolitan place.
Members of the Women in Leadership Delegation were deeply taken by Israel's unique cultural spirit.
Striving in so many different ways, economically, educationally, humanitarian.
We're all leaving Israel with a much greater understanding of this wonderful country.
I want my sphere of influence, and I want the world to know the beauty that is Israel, the beauty that is in the history of Israel, and the beauty of its people.
For almost 40 years, we have a youth student exchange program. The truth is that we are the future generation, and in this program we need to create those bonds, because who knows, one of us might be in politics, one of us might be in rocket science. Later on down the road, we need these connections as countries.
The AIFL has established various powerful platforms in numerous fields of interest, such as the geopolitical briefings, the Christian community outreach, and the young professional community, all part of its effort to provide valuable information to its members and supporters. The America-Israel Friendship League is actively engaged in defending Israel in its desire for freedom, democracy, and the right to exist as a democratic Jewish state.
And that is where the role of the America-Israel Friendship League is today more important, more crucial, and more significant than ever.